Hello, boys and girls. This is Nick, or as some of you might know from Amino, Con, and I'm doing my first video reviewing some of these delivery gig kind of apps. And I'm driving a little bit slow because the setup I have for my camera right now is a little precarious. I think it could fall at any moment. But anyway, I've been driving for about a month for a couple of apps, and I wanted to review them, and this is going to be my first review of a couple of apps, Doordash, Postmates, and to a slightly lesser extent UberEATS. I've seen a lot of people do like their first reviews, but it's usually like their first day, like they go on 1 day of delivery or 2 days of delivery, and I wanted to give it like a couple of weeks, about a month, to really get a feel for these apps before I put a review up and tell people what I think about it. The first one I applied for was Doordash. That's the one I'm on right now. I'm actually running Doordash and Postmates right now, but I flipped over to Doordash only for the next hour because they're running like a nice bonus. I like Doordash. Doordash is easy to use, it's fun. All of these apps are pretty similar. Like, if you've never done this before, basically you have an app, you set your own time for the most part. With Postmates and UberEATS, you 100% set your own time. You clock in and out whenever you want. There are no scheduling blocks. You just say, I'm working now, and then when you're ready to get off, as long as you're not on a delivery, you say, you know, go off. You go offline. Doordash is a little different. It can be the same. For the most part, I've just done it the same way. I just go online when I want to go online. I go offline when I want to go offline. But it's a little different. They do have you pick a schedule. You pick blocks, and they'll have schedules, and they'll say, you know, do you want to work from 5 to 10? Do you want to work from 11 to 2? Or 11 to 10? You could work 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. if you want to. That's what I always pick. But my market is very new, so for me, I can pretty much, except for a few really slow days, go on Dash whenever I want. There's always schedules. I can always Dash now. But I know in a lot of markets where it's much busier, you can get some trouble finding a schedule on Doordash. And especially Grubhub. I have applied for Grubhub. At the time, they weren't looking for employees. They called me this week, or they texted me, emailed me, and I got approved, but I'm having some issue with my insurance because in Alabama, they only put the policyholder's name on the card, so it's this whole thing. But I know Grubhub is even busier. It's really hard to get schedules, at least here in where I drive in Auburn, in the Auburn area of Alabama. I prefer the model for Postmates and UberEATS. I like to just be able to go online when I want to go online. But I don't know about Grubhub or any of the other ones, but with Doordash, if you miss your schedule, there doesn't seem to be any penalty. Like, as far as I can tell, I've been able to clock on even if I'm like 30 minutes past when I said I'd get on. And you can end your dash whenever you want. Like, if you're scheduled to 10, I never work that long. I get off when I make a certain amount of money. So, you know, if you work from 11 and it's 2 and you're like, I want to go home, then you just end your dash. No penalty. There's no penalty for ending early. I think with Grubhub there is. I think they're stricter. But with Doordash, you can end your penalty. The penalty in busy areas could be that you can't get back on if you want to get on later. But here, that hasn't been a problem. I've also found a bit of a workaround with Doordash's whole like scheduling thing. Now, because my market is new and it's not very busy, I can do this because schedules never run out. But I've found that if your area is grayed out, so like if Doordash is looking for people, the area will be red, you can click on it and you can dash now. You don't need to make a schedule. If it's gray, then it's not busy enough. There's too many drivers or not enough deliveries or both. What I found is I just go into the schedules and I pick the schedule for the next 30-minute block after whatever time it is, and then it'll always let me just clock in. In a busy schedules and busy market, this wouldn't work. But in my market, it's worked just fine. I've never had an issue. Maybe I have to wait like 10 minutes. But with all of these apps, you have your app, you clock on in the different ways I've told you already, and You sit, sometimes for a while in my area, until they tell you. It'll pop up and say, there's a delivery to such and such, or some of the apps don't tell you where it's to, but it'll tell you how much it's going to be, and you say, you can click accept or you ignore it. If you ignore it, it'll go to someone else. If you accept it, then they'll tell you where to go. You go pick up your delivery. With UberEATS, it's ready to go when you get there every time. Like, you walk in, you don't pay, you say, hey, I'm here for UberEATS, you pick it up, you go to the place to drop it off, you drop it off, done. Never pay, no credit cards, no nothing. With Postmates and with Doordash, it can be this way. But for me, for the most part in my area, you always have to use the card. I actually have the card, hold on. Postmates and Doordash give you these cards. Here's my Postmates card. And here's my, Postmates, Doordash. With these cards, you go to the place that you've been told to pick up the food. And sometimes, and it'll tell you, it's very clear. The apps are very clear. I've never had a problem with that. When you get there, they'll say either you have to place the order, so you have to place the order, pay with your card, wait for it to be ready. That's kind of annoying. Those are the most annoying ones. But I tend to only have that happen at fast food restaurants. I personally haven't had to wait at a restaurant, but I'm sure that can happen. Or it's been paid, it's been ordered, DoorDash or Postmates have ordered it, but they haven't paid. So you get there and it'll say pay with your red card or pay with your Postmates card. You pay, you get your food, and they'll tell you where to go. Of the three, UberEATS is the easiest. As far as you never have to pay. You never have to place an order. Never pay for your food. Never place an order. You get in there, you say, I'm here for UberEATS. If they've got a lot of UberEATS, sometimes they'll say, what's the name? But typically I'm just like, I'm here for UberEATS. They hand me the food. You drive to the place. You drop it off, you get paid. Postmates and DoorDash can be that easy, but in my experience, typically you at least have to pay with the card when you get there, which isn't bad. I have no problem with that. Sometimes you have to pay. You have to place the order. But then the rest is the same. So UberEATS, it's a little easier. If you were in a really busy market, I see how this could be even more easy. But for me, for my market, it's moderately busy. So to me, it's not so much easier that it makes a big deal to me. UberEATS also, in my area at least, gets a lot more deliveries. When I'm on UberEATS, I turn it on, I'll have a delivery pretty much instantly, and another one, especially at certain times, like during the lunch hour and the dinner hour. So most of the apps, it's like 11 to 2 is lunch, and then 4:30 to 10:30 for DoorDash, or on Postmates, in my area, it's 5:30 to 9:30 for Postmates. Is dinner rush. For me, lunch isn't busy enough. I'm in a college town. I guess they're in class. It's just not busy enough. But dinner with UberEATS, it's one after the other. You're getting them. They're coming. And with UberEATS, the distance tends to be a lot shorter. Most of my distance, my drive time is like 3 minutes, 6 minutes. 6 is pushing it for UberEATS. It's like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. They keep it really close. And that's cool. UberEATS, you're getting them fast. There's short distances. You're picking them up. I like it. When it's late and I'm trying to make good money, I'll switch over to UberEATS. But UberEATS does not pay well. It does not pay well at all. You're gonna average, man, with me it's been like $3 to $5, and you never get tipped. Like on UberEATS, I never get tipped. I don't know if they just don't push it the way the other apps do. So with UberEATS, you're getting a lot of deliveries and it's easy and it can be fun. It can be like a good way to just be like, when it's a slow night, get some good fun deliveries, make some quick money. But you're not gonna make a lot of money. You can, it's just per delivery, it's low. I use UberEATS. I wouldn't make that my bread and butter. I wouldn't make UberEATS my main income source. I like it. I throw it on as these drive gigs to people are kind of like bonus, like money on the side. For me, Uber Eats is like my specific version of the money on the side. I use it when I'm just like, oh, I'd like to make $30 in an hour and a half or something. And I'll throw it on and that's fun. But for me, it's not enough money in my area. No one tips. So I don't use it too much. Plus, I personally ran into this problem where my Honda was recalled for an airbag issue. And I guess they found out about it. So my account is currently on hold. I've had it fixed for free, of course, because it was recall. But they were like, it could take 30 days to get it in the system. I'm like, good thing Uber Eats is not my money maker. I would be in a pickle. I would say, for me, in my area, now a lot of this is very market specific. In my area, Postmates has been the easiest. I don't know why, but I have driven with Postmates for a while now, and I have never had a problem. Never had to contact support. I don't even know how to contact support on Postmates, because I've never had an issue. I go, I get the food. Sometimes I will have a question about the food because it's different at the store or something, and I call the customer. I've had to do that, but I've never had to call support. I pick up the food, I drop it off. It's been so easy. Now it's just gonna be specific to your market or specific to you. For me, never had a problem with Postmates. With Doordash, I have had a few issues. When Doordash gets really busy, and this is probably the case for Postmates, but in my area, Postmates is very new, so it's not as busy as the other two. With Doordash, you can get stacked orders, okay? Which means you're on a delivery, and they send you another request. And here's a tip for you guys: don't accept it. I'm telling you, you're gonna see this, especially if you're new and you don't know the area very well. You're gonna see DoorDash sending you stacked orders, and you're gonna be very tempted, like, oh, $9, I need that. Especially don't do more than 2, because in my experience with stacked orders have almost always, without fail, been awful. That DoorDash, you kind of trust the app when you're new. You kind of trust the app. You think, oh, if they're sending me another delivery, it must be close. It must be an easy drive. They think I can make it in time. No. I don't know what their algorithm is, but they're not considering that at all. I had a bad experience. I got an order. I had just picked it up when they sent me another order. I'm on the way to get the other order. It was from a KFC. On the way to pick it up, I got a third order. And I was like, okay, all right, good. I get to the second place, and my app, and it's been doing this a lot, it's really annoying. I don't know what the problem is. If you've had this issue I'm about to tell you, comment, because I need to figure out the problem. But with DoorDash, I've been having this problem where every now and then the app will kick me off and I can't log back on without Wi-Fi. I have to drive around and find Wi-Fi, and it is brutal. Like, I know a few places with Wi-Fi, but it's not so consistent that I'm like, oh yeah, it's not everywhere. And I'm sitting there, I'm at a KFC, I'm trying to get the order for the second guy. They have Wi-Fi, I can't get on it. I'm trying to place my order. I finally place the order. I'm like, I'll be back. I drive across the street to the McDonald's, can't get on their Wi-Fi. Finally, I drive across the street to the Applebee's, finally got on their Wi-Fi, got back on the app, calling support. I'm 136 in the freaking queue to get support, which is an issue I've got with DoorDash. I'll get to that. And I'm terrified that it's going to go out. And I'm just like, oh, if my thing turns off again, I don't know where to go. I'm on support. They cancel my third order, and it penalizes me. I was like, please cancel my third order. I'm going to be late because I'm having to be online with you. I'm having to wait for this Wi-Fi thing. I'm having this problem with the app. They canceled it, but it dinged against me. It lowered my rating. And I was like, I finally get the KFC. I drop off the food for the first guy. And his food is like an hour late. I drop off the food for the second guy. I get home, and I didn't get all my bonuses. Like, if you deliver the food within a certain peak window, you get your bonus. But because of all the stuff with the support thing, I was behind on both of them. And I didn't get my $6 bonus. And I clocked out. I went home. I was like, done. This has happened to me a couple of times. It seems like I always have problems like this when it's a stacked order. Like, one time I had 2 orders, and the first person wouldn't answer the door. Couldn't get them. Couldn't call them. I ended up getting to take that home. I got to take that food home and eat it because they couldn't get in contact with them. But stacked orders, if you're new, don't. I know you're going to want to hit that accept button. And when you're new, you're like, I want to hit the accept button. But, I mean, DoorDash, there's no way to say, I don't want stacked orders. I wish you could opt out. Like with DoorDash, I wish you could say, don't offer me an order when I'm on a delivery. I don't want that. Because with UberEATS, if you're on a delivery, there's a button you can hit that says stop. And they won't send you any more deliveries. Which is great when you're trying to clock out, especially on UberEATS. Because UberEATS, you can get a delivery while on a delivery. You can get a delivery certainly after you've delivered, but even while on a delivery. So if you're trying to go home, you really need to hit that stop button. It's like a little hand signal. DoorDash does not have that, and neither does Postmates. So if you have a busy Postmates area, you're gonna have the same problem. I just don't have a busy Postmates area. They need to fix that. It's a pain. DoorDash, their support for me is awful. Awful. Like, you get into this chat and it'll tell you your queue. And my queue is always number like 136, which means there's 135 people in front of you in line trying to get help. And you're just like, I'm on a delivery. Like, this would be one thing if I'm at home and I'm trying to figure out an email or something. Get on my password or something. But I'm on a delivery. I'm trying to pick up this dude's food, or I'm trying to deliver the food to this lady. Like, I need help now. It's just like, I've also worked for Domino's and Pizza Hut, and I could not imagine trying to get into contact with them to help me find a location or to tell them about an issue and being put on hold for 30 minutes. The Domino's managers would have lost their dang minds to find out that I had waited for help for 30 minutes. Like, they want to make money. They don't want you sitting there. DoorDash is a big problem. Now, I can't talk about Postmates. I've never had any issues with Postmates, so I've never had to contact support. I don't know what their queue system is like. I don't know. With me, with Postmates, I've loved it. Postmates has been my favorite. Now, in my area, again, it's fairly new, so it's not as busy. But they've been offering this boost where every delivery you get an extra $10. So I sit there, do that all day. It's like, you take 5 deliveries, you've made $50 just on the bonus. But if I didn't have the bonus, Postmates is slow. So I think DoorDash would be my favorite. DoorDash is like the perfect medium of you make a little bit more money but than you do on UberEATS, but it's a little more consistent than Postmates. So I like that. Of the 3, I like all 3. I'm going to keep working for all 3. I'm not working for Uber right now because I'm on hold because of my Honda recall, but I like all 3. I wouldn't suggest you do this until you learn your area, but I actually run all 3 apps, especially Postmates and DoorDash. I run them on my phone at the same time, and then when I get a delivery, I just log out of the other one. That's worked for me. It's helped me make a lot more money. But if this is something you like, if you want to make some money, you're not going to make a fortune, and it's very up and down. Like, last week, I made $500 in a week. It was amazing. This week, and it's subject to your market. Like, this week is spring break for Auburn University. I live in a college town. It's a ghost town. And there is no one here. I've averaged like 2 or 3 deliveries a day. That's why I'm doing this, because I have nothing to do. So I went from making $500 in a week to nothing. 2 or 3 deliveries in a day. And the first couple of days I was like, what is going on? Is my app broken? Why am I not getting deliveries? And then finally I realized, like, oh, it's spring break. Everyone's gone. But that's something you're going to have to consider. That's something you're going to have to know about your market. Like, next spring break, I'm just going to take off. Like, I'm not bothering with this. So you're going to have to learn your area, figure out the times, and it's flexible. I mean, one week you can make $500 and one week you can make 50. It's a little nerve-wracking. But if you like it, I like it. I like driving. I'm willing to not make quite as much money to be my own boss. You clock in, you clock out when you want to. If you get really stressed, you just clock out. Like, some nights I have gotten unbelievably stressed at a customer or just a situation that had occurred, and I just clock out. I go home. Whereas if you had a 9-to-5 job, suck it up. You've got another 4 hours of work. If you get sick, if you get bored, if you just don't feel it today, you can just go home. I really like that. Or if you just want to take a break, you turn off UberEATS, go eat lunch for 30 minutes. Oh, you want to take an extra 30 minutes? Take an extra 30 minutes. There's no boss that's going to come and say, hey, did you clock in? 30 minutes is up. It's nice. It's nice not having a manager on your butt all the time. You're in your own car. You listen to your own music. I download YouTube videos and I listen to them in the car. I like driving. It's a thing I like. That is one thing, though. You're going to have to consider gas. If you have a good car, fortunately my car is good on gas, so it hasn't been a big issue. But if your car is going to go through a lot of gas, it might not be the job for you. You're going to do depreciation. You're going to, make your car. I have to get an oil change like once a month, at least every 2 months. So, you got to factor that in. But I still think it's worth it. I'm making a killing. I make more money than I ever did on any of my minimum wage, like 9-to-5 jobs. And I'm not working crazy hours. All my jobs were like getting off at 2. No. I work 11 to 2 and 4:30 to 9:30 every day. And I'm making $500 in a week. So, and I have some people, I was talking to a friend of mine who works for Grubhub, and they made $300 in a day. It's crazy. Oh, and Grubhub is good because Grubhub gives you a minimum pay per hour. Like, even if you don't make any deliveries that hour, you made whatever amount of money, maybe $13, maybe 10, I don't know. That's amazing. But with Grubhub, they are stricter. You're going to have to work. If you say you're going to work 11 to 2, you're going to work 11 to 2 no matter what. Don't love that. So that's why I've been a little avoiding Grubhub. So just know your area. If you have a problem with gas, I would work for UberEATS because they tend to keep everything much closer. You're not going to be driving as far, so, it might work out better for you. Doordash, with Postmates, it's been even. I maybe take 10 minutes is the furthest I've had to drive. With Doordash, I've had to make like a 20-minute drive, like a 20-mile drive. I was like, you are not paying me enough to drive for 20 miles. But I accepted it because I was new. And one time I had been a little bit driving for a bit longer, and they sent me this 20-mile thing, and I rejected it. I was like, no. And they pop up and they say, you are the closest driver, like, please. They didn't say please, but basically they were like, we've just, we did the math and you're the closest driver for this customer. And so I accepted it because I felt guilty. Don't fall for it. Don't feel guilty. There's no reason to feel guilty. Do not drive 20 miles for $10, especially when you kind of probably aren't going to get a tip. But anyway, that was my experience. I like all 3. If I had to rate them right now because of the boost that I'm getting from the, the extra delivery money on Postmates, I'd say Postmates is my favorite. and then DoorDash, and then Uber Eats, mostly because I haven't used it enough and because the money is just not enough for me. But Uber Eats is a little more fun because you are going to get a little more deliveries on, you know, and I really like that you can say, I don't want any more deliveries. Don't you be stacking deliveries on my account. I don't want it. That's my review. This has been Nick. It's getting dark. I'm going to go try to get a little bit of money. I've had one delivery today. Spring break sucks. Anyway, stay super, my friends, and I will see you guys later.